Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to highlight the importance of seconds mattering in Apex Legends. Everything you do, I always equate to feeling like speed running the game. Whether you're slide jumping to get to a certain place faster, why you use certain movement tech, how long it takes for you to third party another team, how long it takes for you to make a push, and we're going to break every single thing down so you step away from this video and you can apply that variable and apply critical thinking to understand if you have the time to make that push, if you're going to rotate instead, and make informed decision making with your squad. We're going to highlight a few examples, and the first example that we're going to do, Nyx is going to heal immediately after I crack her, and I'm going to give the example of how fast you need to actually push to ensure the opponent doesn't heal before you get there, and it's going to be a very tight timing. So let's go and give the example. Let's say somebody says, I see somebody right here, cracked, I'm pushing, and even then as they're pushing, let's say they go around this area, you'll notice, boom, they're healed up. Now, the biggest thing to highlight, because you're going to see the timer, and I put even the seconds over the intro just to kind of give you the perspective that timing is of the essence, that let's say I even hesitated here and did the crack and said, I'm pushing, wait a minute, should we push? Can we push? And then we go. Look at that timing, how much longer that it actually takes just to get to the encounter, right? And the seconds mattering of even taking the corner here. Now, this is where opponents can even shave down a little bit of time by batting and even trying to bait you around a specific corner. Now, for the next example, what we're going to do is highlight the timing it takes for a specific res and that timing if everyone is on point. So let's say I saw somebody, and even if I hesitated with comms and I get the knock, I knocked one. Do you have utility? Who's with me? Can we push? Yeah, I'm pushing. Go. And you decide to push. All that conversation back and forth, they're rezzed. Now what we're going to do again is we're going to actually do this again about the amount of time and back up a little bit further of having that argument or debate if you should push. Again, we're going to add an extra layer to timing and give the example of them popping a battery. Now I'll be at a little bit further a distance. So Nyx, if you don't mind, go ahead and turn back on the friendly fire. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the knock here. And then you'll have the debate. I knocked one. Should we push? Yeah, let's go in. Do you have ult? I'll throw a fallback. Keep pushing. They might have res by now. Keep pushing. Go. And then by the time you get all the way up there and then you push and they're bouncing around, they're already healed. So let's say they had red armor in this example. In this example, you'll see that they had white armor. But if they happen to have red and you're pushing up and the team is even blasting you on the cross, how risky that play could be, but also how aggressive you need to be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in game and talk about just traversing land and the difference between effective slide jumping versus just regular jumping and how much of a difference it can make in your gameplay. Now, in this portion of the video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go all the way from overlook when we have the map zoomed out from O all the way to E on fragment. What we're going to be doing is doing a perfectly timed slide jump every time you see the Qatar kind of move up. And that's a good tip. Every time you see the movement of your heirloom, we'll slide down also to kind of get that movement in and just kind of buy a little bit of time, but just using it properly to make sure we don't dead slide. So if you're curious, whenever I apply the mention of proper movement tech, of making sure that you're always just slide jumping as soon as you get that timing right so you don't dead slide, that's the timing I'm talking about. Movement is all about fluidity, and think about all that movement all the time that you save trying to traverse. Traversing land, you're going to see how fast, let's say if you land there, grab a gun and go all the way to fragment, how fast we actually traverse this area here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go directly back as well. So that probably took us, give or take, around 45 to 53 seconds. You're going to see it overlaid on screen. You're going to have the perfect example. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut and go all the way back again, and we're not even going to slide jump, but we're just going to run normally. So let's go ahead and jump cut, and we're going to handle that right now. Now, this is pretty close to the exact spot. I know, so we're pretty much right on the O of overlooked, but you're going to see the pretty massive difference in terms of time. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to reset my timer right here, and then we're going to start just running. This is not even just running across, not even walking, no slide jumping. We're just going to run. Remember we saw the timer before, the difference that the slide jump can make. And the reason why I'm doing this, I want to show you and let it sink in the big difference that it makes just by having somebody third party you, even if they're not using any proper movement, and how fast they can get there. But also when the zone is closing, you say, how did a team get towards us? You have to work with your internal timer. Now, I know this isn't the exact course that I went, but you're still going to notice a time difference that it did make, unfortunately. Now, I don't have the perfect stopwatch, which is why I'm going to do it in post to add the overlay so you see it timed perfectly, so you understand the difference that it does overall make. So once we're all the way over here, boom, that's our time just by regular running, no slide jumping. So we're going to take a look at that difference, but even comparing just regular slide jumping, the difference that it does make and how impactful it can be to third-party team just by even just running over and being efficient and how much you can traverse the map. If we did that in that short amount of time, and you go from overload to fragment and you add another minute and you could potentially get all the way across the map, it's amazing how much you can traverse and get to the designated area that you were intended to be, to hold an ideal position, to gate a different team, to third party another team. There's so much that you can do, and then you also can speed this up by using a potential legend. Now we start to add in the last variable of grappling, using a Revenant Tactical, using a utility that'll help you traverse, using a Valkyrie ult, using an evac tower on top of that, using any sort of utility that'll help you speed along by running across the map and traversing will make such a massive difference. So keep that in mind and feel that internal timer, because if you can traverse that amount of time, a lot of people don't apply that logic. And I know it seems really simple, but you see it on a large scale of just third partying. You see it on the smaller scale of just simply healing. Remember, when we look at the game and we look at every single heal, everything takes time. Whether it's 3 seconds for a shield cell, whether it's 5 seconds for a syringe, 8 seconds for a med kit, 5 seconds for a shield battery, or 10 seconds for a Phoenix kit. Every little bit adds up to what you do. Do you decide to reload? Do you decide to heal first? Do you decide to armor swap to save yourself some time? All that time at the end of the day is going to make you a better player and improves your game sense. I always get the question asked as well, well, how do I improve my game sense? What do I do to make a difference in how I make a play? Well, by having that extra knowledge of how long every bit of action takes, then you will constantly improve, because you know if they're going to be available for you to finish. You know that you can get the finisher off in time. You know you can get the armor swap in time. I know, again, I apologize if some people are watching this. It seems like a very simplistic video, but I wouldn't be making it if it wasn't probably one of the more important tips that I can provide to anybody. Now, I guess the last one I can leave you off on is how fast you can burn through ammo. Let's say, for example, let's just go pick up a gun and you only have a bit of ammo in your inventory. Or actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's do one better. Let's go into the test range and let's talk about ammo economy and break that down with a timer as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, in this example of the video, I'm also going to give the example of using resources and how much ammo you have and how much you can burn through. So we actually have to turn off the infinite ammo for this, and I have to remember to turn it back on later. And what we're going to do is we're just going to blast into the wall and just essentially shoot. We're not going to use this reload. We're going to have no stock, just to be a little fair, and you're going to see the reload and ammo economy, but also how much damage you can essentially dish out. We're going to do this for the 30-30, the hemlock, and then the flatline. We're only going to do 2 stacks of ammo, just to kind of keep it simple, because then you can scale it and kind of go accordingly. So let's go and start with the 30-30. So, you know, we blast away, and you're going to be amazed about how much time you can actually keep firing. This is why I give the tip to everyone, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and I say, please do not be afraid to shoot and just keep blasting. I'm not even going to just handle recoil. I'm just going to keep shooting. I don't know why I keep pulling down. So just because if you end the round when you still have ammo in the chamber, it means that you actually could have still done damage to the opponent. That would have actually been a fantastic way to still just keep shooting. And even if you miss, as long as you hit them a quarter of the time, that's still a good amount of damage. Now we're gonna have to equate for the fact that this, I kind of screwed up the reload there, so that was a mistake. But that's okay. Because this one is gonna be just so blatant in terms of timing compared to the hemlock and the flatline and using up resources. You're gonna see the timer overhead. And if you think about like, wow, you could be shooting pretty much the end zone nonstop at a wall or at somebody. And keep in mind, nobody actually really does that, but you'll know how much ammo that you have in reserve and how much you are able to put up a fight. This is more impactful when it comes to pro play, because you're not able to just get more resources on the fly. You're pretty much stuck at your area that you're holding, and then pretty much everything around you is looted, because pros are very efficient at looting POIs. The higher quality of the lobby, the less resources they are. The lower quality of the lobby, the more resources there probably are available or not being utilized. Because I promise you, most low-level players are ending their inventories with tons of ammo, and then there's really nothing to worry about there. But it'll also be very eye-opening, because you'll notice how fast the flatline burns through ammo versus how fast the hemlock burns through ammo. Now, apply the same logic to the Nemesis, to the Volt, to using a triple take, and this is why it's important to balance your loadouts. So this becomes more in terms of like loadout tips, because you can have, let's say, a flatline and a nemesis, but I promise you, if you get into a lot of fights, you're not getting the ammo that you need, then you're not going to be able to utilize that economy appropriately. So now let's do the same thing. We're going to grab only 2 stacks. I'm going to overlay the timer again, and we're going to start blasting. I'm not using any stocks. We're just pretty much, you know, going in here with pretty much what you see. I screwed up the reload with a 30-30 earlier, so just kind of keep that in mind. But it really hits on the theme, every second matters, every bit of damage that you do, utilizing your resources, the max amount of damage you're able to output. And you'd be surprised, you'll be able to do like a massive amount of damage if you were to, like, somebody were to painstakingly go through this, which I might actually do. If you want me to go painstakingly through how much damage that you can dish out with each of these guns, based on the amount of ammo type, I'm more than happy to do that for you guys as well. I think that is also a very good exercise. And that really helps in terms of balancing loadouts as well. So again, two kits, you'll realize just how the difference was there in terms of burning through ammo. The difference is insane. Meaning you only have a few rounds until you're just pretty much burned through your whole kit. And then you have no more ammo. Now, realistically as well, you don't need all the ammo in the world, because unless you're just poking at range, if you get into a close range encounter, I'll kind of mean here a little bit. I know it may seem a little mean, and if there's a player out there that struggles with that, I do apologize. But I think it's important to realize, let's say, for example, you're using a purple bolt with 16 ammo. We'll time this as well. If your 1v1 is taking this long, and you look at the timer, and you think about a 1v1, if you're going to win that encounter, and reloading, even just 1 stack, right? How long you can actually stay active in a fight, right? And keep in mind, it doesn't take much to knock somebody with a Peacekeeper, right? You can just literally be on the side and just hit him 1, 2, and then 3. You don't need every bullet. But this was only with 1 stack, right? Reload again, and then boom. I don't think anybody will ever be in a 1v1 that long until somebody wins. That's why I'm like, if you got 6 bullets, that's pretty much how long any 1v1 encounter is going to last if somebody's in front of you. Even if you're within silver up, I promise you your encounters are not going to last that long, blasting each other out in the open. Maybe if you run into a fellow rookie player and then you run away and then heal and everything, but if they're right on top of you, it shouldn't. That's why I'm like, I apologize if it seems like I'm picking on anybody out there, but the perspective is so important, and timing is so important. So if you enjoyed this video, I really hope this was eye-opening in terms of timing, one on heals, traversing land, and also your ammo type and how much you're dealing out. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to go even more in depth on how much damage you can output per gun, and we can overlay it on screen and give tips throughout, let me know. Comment down below. I just thought about this recently. It made me realize certain pro players don't think about this, and I hope that they do start to think about this. I had a conversation with one, and I was like, you really should consider every second does matter. And I know it doesn't seem like it. If you went through the tournament video, I highlighted how 3 seconds made the difference between potentially winning a game versus us losing the game. And even lagging out for 2 seconds can make a big difference on a rotation of you getting there. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.